Office of General Services. On behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul, I want to say how happy we are to see all of you here today as we look to unveil the carvings of the Bronx and Nassau counties on the Great Western Staircase, also known as the $1 Million Staircase. Now, before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests that are with us here today. Assemblymember Szilagyi, from Nassau County, Senators Jack Martins, Stephen Rhodes, Selin Bina, and Assembly members Judy Griffin, Daniel Norberg, Charles Levine, Jake Blumenkrantz, and Noah Burrows. From Bronx County, we'll be soon joined by Senator Jamal Bailey, Assembly members John Zacco, Jeffrey Dinowitz, Amanda Septimo, Amrita Torres, Eudelica Tapia, and from Governor Hochul's office, Stephen Martins, Jackie Paredes, and Debbie Lewis. Senator White and Senator Pinzaneri Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much all for being here. It's a great crowded room because this is a real historic day. I also want to acknowledge the Association of Counties. The Executive Director, Stephen O'Connor, is not here with us, but has been a big part of making this come to fruition. We've got a number of distinguished guests from the Association of Counties with us. The Bronx and Nassau counties, of course, were some of the last of New York State's 62 counties to be established in 1914 and 1899, respectively, making them the last to be etched in this magnificent staircase behind us. Since both counties were established following the staircase's completion in the late 1800s, the counties' names never made it onto this elaborately chiseled sandstone. That is, until today, over a century since their founding. Now, in 2024, we began work with carver David Ross from Adam Ross Cut Stone, a family business that was passed on for 6 generations here in Albany, to have both counties permanently stamped into the heart of our capital. Both the Bronx and Nassau counties are known for their rich history and diverse cultural influences. The Bronx County is not only the 3rd most densely populated borough in the United States, but it's also New York City's greenest borough. The Boogie Down Bronx is the home of and the birthplace of hip hop, salsa, breakdancing, the home of the Bronx Bombers, Yankee Stadium, the Bronx Zoo, and New York's Botanical Gardens. It is the birthplace of many legends, from founding father Gouverneur Morris, the penman of the Constitution, and one of the most outspoken opponents of slavery in his time, the Constitutional Congress, to the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the first Latina and 3rd woman to serve on our nation's highest court. And from Jones Beach in the south to the northern Gold Coast of Great Gatsby fame, Nassau County is filled with scenic and historic destinations. Its community and cultural spaces include Josetta and Julius Pierce African American Museum, Theodore Roosevelt's home, the Sagamore Hill National Historic Site, the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and the home of the New York Islanders, the UBS Arena. It's also where Charles Lindbergh took off on the first non-stop transatlantic flight in 1927. Now, the Bronx and Nassau belong in this remarkable space, and OGS is proud to have played a role in ensuring that all corners of our state are represented on this grand staircase. I especially want to thank our team from Design and Construction, Real Estate, Curatorial, and Visitor Services for making this happen. Deputy Commissioner for Design and Construction, Bridget O'Hanlon, and her team, including Capital Architect, Jason Senko, Capital Restoration Coordinator, Andrea Lazarski, Area Supervisor, Richard Hines. I think I also saw Mr. Brady over here, our head of our design team. And of course, Deputy Commissioner for Real Estate, Gary Yapel, and his team, including the Director for Plaza Operation, David Frick, and the entire OGS team. Thank you all so much for what you do. Now, I'm sure you're wondering how we discovered that these 2 counties were missing on our staircase. Credit goes to none other than our former tour guide and head of the OGS Capital Tours program, Matt Ham, who brought this to our attention. Now our tour guides no longer have to explain why the Bronx and Nassau are nowhere to be found on this mosaic of intricate carvings. Now, throughout 15 years of construction in the late 1800s, over 500 sculptors invested their energy and their talent to carve flora, fauna, symbols, the faces of famous and important Americans within its pillars, its columns, and even its nooks and crannies. And if you look around the staircase, you can find 78 famous faces of New York governors, U.S. presidents, explorers, politicians, inventors, scientists, authors, soldiers, poets, activists, and abolitionists. And a couple of years ago, in 2023, we joined Governor Hochul right here to unveil a carving of the 78th famous face, U.S. Supreme Court Justice and Brooklyn native, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This portrait was the first new carving added to the Great Western Staircase since its completion in 1898, and only the 7th woman depicted in its gallery. And today, about 2 years later, we are celebrating the addition of these new carvings that round out our list of the state's counties engraved within our 7th capital. So we're so pleased to have you all here for this momentous occasion. But I'd like to turn over and welcome Assemblymember Michaela Szilagyi, who represents many communities in Nassau County, to share remarks about this occasion.
Please give a round of applause to our great commissioner. Really doing the work. And I also recognize the speaker's staff. We have Wendy and Josiah, who is here from the speaker, and we thank the speaker for all that he does for New York State. And so we're standing right here in the $1 Million Staircase. And it's not just an architectural marvel, but it is also a symbol of our state's history, our progress, our resilience. And it's a pleasure to not only just welcome two amazing counties, Bronx and Nassau. We know that they saved the best for last, right? I mean, let's just put it at that. And so right now we're going to be telling the story of our state, its journey, one county at a time. And it's going to ensure that we have these two names, these two counties, to ensure that we are as one state together. So whether you're in Montauk, Buffalo, we are one state. And so this staircase is really going to reflect that. I know for me, for Nassau County, this moment represents a strength of a community. And it talks about Nassau County's important roots, whether it's architectural roots, its dynamic history, its home to world-class institutions, its beautiful parks, and especially its hard-working people. Really, Nassau County is just a county, but it's people, it's what makes its essence. And I thank many of the Nassau County residents who's here, and I see Nassau County right here, it's all represented, right? Hey, Nassau County. So I thank OGS, the artisans, the historians, and everyone who played a role in making this reality. This is just more than an unveiling. It's really a celebration of its people, of the culture of New York State, the history that binds us as New Yorkers. And I congratulate the people of Nassau County and of the Bronx. Now we are permanently edged in the $1 Million Staircase. It's such an exciting day, and congratulations to all, and thank you to Governor Kathy Hochul for getting this done.
Assemblymember Szilagyi, thank you for joining us. I believe you're from Elmont, right?
Yeah, Elmont.
Born and raised New Yorker, right?
Yes. Born the Islanders, right?
And so, without further ado, I'd like to call to the front our very talented David Ross, who's the person behind these carvings, to share a few words with us. David?
Thank you. I would just like to thank the people that have made it possible for me to be part of this project. Adam Ross has been in business for 136 years in Albany, and I've been there 50, and it was a privilege to work on this staircase. It's nothing compared to what I did, is nothing compared to the rest of it, but I was honored to be able to do it. Thank you.
If you don't mind, Senator Bailey is delayed. Can you give some remarks on behalf of the Bronx?
Sure.
I want to make sure they're represented.
Sure. Thank you so much. Well, first off, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to stand here today for this moment, which has been a long time coming for the Bronx and for Nassau County. This is about every Bronxite who has worked to make our borough seen and heard and valued. This is my first term as an assembly member representing the 85th district in the Bronx, and it just gives me great pride to be here as a new member, sort of being a part of this inauguration. And I just want to say my inauguration in the Bronx was held at the Sonia Sotomayor Community Center. So another great Bronxite, and other great sites, as I mentioned here, the New York Botanical Garden, Soundview Park is in my district. Such amazing places that we get to highlight for the Bronx. The Bronx has shaped New York in ways that can't be ignored. We are the birthplace of hip hop. We're a borough built by immigrants and working class families. Our community has led movements for household rights, labor protections, and social justice. Our people have always been at the forefront of change. No matter the challenges, we keep moving forward. For generations, Bronxites have stood on these steps demanding a better future. This carving for us is much more than a symbol. It honors those who came before us and reminds us of the work still ahead. It is a promise for the next generation that we will keep fighting. So as someone who was raised in the Bronx, someone who marvels at the beautiful architecture of this capital, I am just in awe and grateful for the opportunity to be here and to be here as a member of the Bronx Assembly delegation. So thank you so much.
And let's give one more round of applause to David, who did such a great job incorporating these two counties. Before we get to our unveiling, I see Senator Bailey is here. We had a few remarks in the Bronx, but how can we not have one of our famous Bronx leaders come and speak? And so, want to say a few words, sir?
A few words. Hello, Senator Bailey from the Bronx, the undisputed home of hip hop, the birth of hip hop. And thanks to my favorite Stuyvesant graduate of all time, Jeanette Moyes, a Bronx Science graduate. That's really hard to say. But her leadership in OGS is critically important, and sometimes they say you save the best for last. And all 62 counties are incredibly important, but the Bronx obviously carries a significance to me. It is where I live, where I raised my family, and where I am rooted deeply. So having these etchings finally done here in love and deference of my favorite borough amongst all equals is critically important. I just want to say thank you for recognizing us. We are seen. Our brothers and sisters in Nassau are now seen. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. We appreciate this wonderful event. Thank you, Madam Commissioner.
Before we get to the unveiling, I'd like to draw your attention to the new Counties of New York State, a historical journey exhibit. It opened today in the Capitol's second floor East Lobby. I hope you'll come back soon and visit the Capitol and learn more about our state's 62 counties. Now, legislators, Assemblymember Szilagyi, Senator Bailey, if you can join me, we're going to head right up and we're going to unveil the two names, the Bronx and Nassau counties.